I was the surrogate for my sister's baby. Now she won't let me see the child I carried for 9 months. I still remember the exact moment my sister asked me to be her surrogate. We were sitting on my porch swing, watching the sunset after her 6th fail-to-fire attempt. "You are my only hope, Maddie," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. Yesterday she blocked my number and told her doorman not to let me into her building to see the child I carried for 9 months. I never wanted children of my own. That was always Rachel's dream parent. The nursery plans, the tiny clothes, the name list she'd been making since we were teenagers. When she was diagnosed with a condition that made pregnancy impossible, I didn't hesitate. "I'll carry your baby," I told her, squeezing her hand. "What are sisters for? The doctors used her egg and her husband Tom's sperm, legally and biologically. This would be their child parent. I was just the vessel," we all agreed. We signed contracts. We were so careful to do everything right. The pregnancy was harder than I expected. Morning sickness lasted all day for 7 months. I developed gestational diabetes. My feet swelled so badly I couldn't wear shoes to work. But every discomfort felt worth it when Rachel placed her hands on my belly to feel her daughter kick. "You are giving us the greatest gift anyone could give," she'd say, eyes shining. Tom would bring me special teas and prenatal vitamins, massaging my feet while we all watched movies together. The birth was traumatic. 36 hours of labor ending in an emergency section. When they finally lifted baby Lily over the surgical curtain, the first person to hold her wasn't Rachel or Tom. It was a nurse. The second was Rachel, who sobbed as she cradled her daughter for the first time. I didn't hold Lily until she was 3 days old. Something shifted in Rachel's eyes when she reluctantly handed her to me in the hospital room. Something possessive. "Don't get too attached," she said with a laugh that didn't reach her eyes. "Remember, you are just Aunt Maddie." I recovered from my section alone in my apartment. Rachel sent photos but declined my offers to visit. "We're still settling in," she'd text, "maybe next week." Next week became next month, then 3 months. I'd only seen Lily twice since leaving the hospital when I finally confronted Rachel. Her response chilled me. "The surrogacy counselor warned us about this," she said coldly. "You're having trouble separating. You think she's yours somehow, Rachel." "She's my niece," I said, stunned. "I know exactly who she is. I just want to be part of her life." "Tom thinks it's confusing for Lily," she continued as if I hadn't spoken. "Having you around, it's not natural. We need to establish ourselves as her only parents. Last week was Lily's first birthday. I wasn't invited to the party, but I dropped off a gift. Parent, a silver bracelet engraved with her birth date. The date my body changed forever to bring her into this world. Yesterday, Rachel returned the unopened gift with a note. "We think it's best if you keep your distance until Lily is older. Your attachment isn't healthy." I've read our surrogacy contract a dozen times since then. Here is nothing in there about aunt rights. Nothing about how to handle the primal connection that forms when you nurture a life inside you, part even when that life isn't yours to keep. My therapist says grief is normal, that even surrogates who never intended to parent the children they carry experience a profound sense of loss. But how do I grieve someone who is alive and well just across town, growing up without knowing the woman who sang to her every night for 9 months? I don't regret being Rachel's surrogate. I gave my sister her greatest wish, but no one prepared me for the cost parent, not just my body, but the sister I thought I knew. Sometimes love means carrying someone else's dream. Sometimes it means letting go, but I never imagined it would mean being erased.